Welcome to Welcome with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of James, chapter 2, verse 18. Yet a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. And I'm going to repeat that. Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. This is the one verse right here that I keep telling and speaking on and preaching about how everybody keeps misinterpreting and misunderstanding when it comes to works and when it comes to faith. See, there's other times in the scriptures where work is meaning by serving other people and providing for the poor and doing good deeds, but those are good deeds works. This right here, what James is referring to, is in his faith. In order to keep faith, you have to have a relationship with God. And in order to keep a very strong and close relationship with God, you have to work at it. So when he's saying, let me show you that faith without works is pretty much dead, is because you're killing if you do not work on your relationship, if you do not keep that relationship with God going, it is dead. Your faith will die. You will not be able to stand up against the enemy when he comes after you. This is why it's so important to have a relationship with God. There's many people who believe in God but do not have faith in God. There's many people who, because they don't even have a relationship. This is so very important. This is why it speaks many times in the Bible, and why God says that when you get to heaven, he will say, I do not know you. See, God knows everybody. He created them all. He remembers everything he's ever created. If he knows how many hairs of head he has on you, he knows who you are. But when he says, I do not know you, depart from me, it's because you don't have a relationship with him. He knows of you, but he does not know you, and you do not know him. You know of God, but you don't have a relationship with him. So the work that we have to do in keeping a relationship with God is very easily. You got to read, for it tells you in the scriptures to stay in this book day and night. Meditate on it, think on it. To pray without ceasing. That means don't stop praying. Constantly be in prayer. Talk to him. Let him hear your voice so you can then hear his voice. And worship him. Bow down. A lot of people are thinking that singing songs is a form of worship. No, you are singing praises. See, everybody gets that twisted. They think, oh, these are worship songs. No, honey, you are singing praises to God. In fact, if you go read through the book of Psalms, you'll see every time that they're singing anything in Psalms, they're saying, lift up my voice in praise. So singing songs is not worshiping. It is singing that is giving God praise, giving God the glory. Worshiping, as we see many times in the scriptures, is bowing down, lowering yourself, humbling yourself, being obedient to God. In fact, anytime that you bow down your head to something, you are worshiping it. There's a lot of people who says that, when they were discussing about Christmas and the Christmas tree, and say, oh, we don't worship it. Yes, you do. You get on your knees and you lower yourself to get out the presents before you hand them to people. You are bowing down before that idol, which the Christmas tree is a idol. Satan, when he tempted Jesus, what did he tell him to do? If you just bow down and worship me. Anytime that they have the kings, like King Nebuchadnezzar, when he said, what do you want, when he built the golden idol, when he told him to do what? that they needed to bow and worship the God. Praying is a form of worship because you are on your knees, you are bowing down, you are humbling yourself before God. When he speaks that, about the wealthy man not making it because the camel can't go through the eye of a needle. The eye of a needle is a gate, and the camel is very tall. And when they walk on the camel, usually most rich people have their camel loaded, so they have sacks on the side of it. Plus, they're sitting very highly up. The reason why it says the camel cannot go through there is because the man has to humble himself, which means he has to get off the camel so that he can fit, which means when he gets down, he's lowering himself before God, humbling himself. It says many times in the scriptures that you are to what? Be humble. God speaks that, and Jesus speaks that a lot throughout the scriptures, to remain humble and to worship him. The reason why it became worship music is only because that is something the church has started. When they was calling people down to the altar, they'll have somebody come up and play instrumental music so that people felt more comfortable coming down to pray, so it wasn't so silent. And so they started calling it worship music. And then people started getting it twisted that when you sit there and sing songs that you're worshiping God. No, honey, you are praising him. You want to worship God, you get down on your knees and you pray. Now, there are some songs that when you're singing praises, it could turn into worship because it's no different than a prayer. That's giving yourself an awe and humbling yourself. And it's praying to God, talking to him. But just because you sit there and you put on this music and you call it worship music, you are not worshiping God. You're singing praises to him, glorifying him. But when you are to truly worship God, is to walk in obedience, to humble yourself, do you know that even when you are by yourself and you have been tempted, and there's things that you or the devil is trying to tempt you to do and you do not do them, that is a form of worship. Your obedience to God. You're giving him worship. You're praising him. You're like, yes. God sees that you're placing him above yourself and above other things. To place God above everything and above yourself is worshiping God. Because nothing is above God. Nothing is higher than him. And when you place him above everything else, and that includes in your life and in your heart, you are worshiping God. And that is how you keep a relationship, and that's how you work. And you cannot do those things just by simply, oh, I believe in God. And that's why James is referring to the work that he does in his faith. Those are the works of the faith and the relationship that you build between you and God. If you do not have a relationship with God, your faith will die. You will have nothing to keep your faith going. You will lose hope. You will lose faith. The armor of God that you are to keep on is part of worshiping, being in this book, because the word is truth. It's everything that you need to protect yourself from the enemy, from the evil one. And you have to keep covered in it. You have to build up this wall of fire around you to be protected. How do you do that? By being in prayer, by worshiping God, by being in this word is what builds up the fire around you. Read, pray.